Live.
WWE has just announced the releases of Kurt Angle, Drake Maverick, Kurt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Rowan, Sarah Logan, Mike Keota, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, EC3, Aiden English, Lio Rush, Primo, and Epico. This comes off the back of a staff call that Vince McMahon did several hours ago with WWE officials and presumably a lot of the roster and also back office staff. This call was reportedly under 5 minutes long, according to PW Insider, where WWE outlined the measures they're going to have to take in the face of this global worldwide pandemic. And, you know, the very real possibility that WWE won't be able to run live shows for even 18 months. That means WrestleMania 37 might not be in front of any fans either. And yeah, that affects their live attendance gates, the ticket sales, the merchandise. It also might affect how WWE get money from TV, because will they be allowed to do TV tapings live? You know, that's been a huge debate over last week that they are pushing ahead with, but who knows if that's going to continue. And also, it's the other problem comes in with the falling ratings, because we've seen Raw after the initial sort of curiosity factor has passed, that Raw has just lost viewers every week. So WWE are taking this very seriously. Vince McMahon shut down the XFL over the weekend, laid off everyone there, liquidated those assets. He has $500 million in cash in WWE as a company. But, you know, when you go into full-on apocalypse doomsday prepper mode, you cut every conceivable cost. And because of WWE's strategy over the last 4 years, which is hoover up all the talent in the world, even if you don't know what to do with them.
Suddenly know this should come in.
So other people can't sign them, AEW case in point, New Japan, then that means you've got a very bloated roster, and you can cut loads of people that you don't really need. And that's what's happened here. The new name is Andy is Zack Ryder.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. I just I've got my like WhatsApp notifications on my laptop, and just and Andy's kind of like keeping on top of this, and you know, he's keeping us all updated in, you know, with what's been going on. And yeah, that just came up onto my screen. I was like, man, you know, it's another name. It's when the first batch came out, I thought, man, that's rough. Like, it's a really rough. It's rough going. Like, it's awful news. And then just more names came out, and that's when I realized, oh, this is going to be a long day. This is going to be a long day for a lot of people. And yeah, and it's just since then, just more and more names have come out. Apparently, WWE are calling each of the talent individually to let them know. So there's not just sort of like a mass call that's going out to everyone. They are calling all the talents. Shane Helms jokingly tweeted that he shouldn't have picked up the phone. You know, but it's been not a great day to be a wrestling fan. You know, everyone's heart's going out there. The Drake Maverick video that he posted up on Twitter it's a rough watch, really, really rough watch. You can see that he's just borderline just stopped crying at that point. And yeah, sucks, man. Really sucks.
Yeah, like you said, that it's going to take a while to call up, even if you've got a team of 10 people calling up all of these wrestlers and having these very difficult conversations with them. I imagine some of those, I would speculate some of those would be quite short conversations, just, you know, that they read the internet, they know what's happening. When the first set of names that came out, it was only about 9 people, or was it even 7? And it was Carl Anderson, it was Kurt Hawkins, it was EC3, was Lio Rush, and Drake Maverick. And we were like, God, why would you get rid of Carl Anderson and not also release Luke Gallows? They're the OC tag team. And then it updated. Now now Luke Gallows is gone too. And we all said, man, if I'm Zack Ryder, I am worried right now, because Kurt Hawkins has been released. It's just like it's a matter of time before that happens. I don't know if there's any sort of order to this. It doesn't seem to be alphabetical. When I was recording my news video, my breaking news video that went up about an hour ago now, I was refreshing as I was recording it just to make sure nothing had changed or nobody else would be added. I think I even signed off the video because it seemed like the run of names had stopped. I signed off the video with like, well, hopefully that's the end of it.
Yeah.
I go to publish the video, it refreshes, and Kurt Angle's face is now on the front of the tweet, WWE's official tweet. And I'm like, what? And I click through, and it's got the list of the names, but Kurt Angle's name isn't on there. And I'm honest, I'm just hitting an F5 like Brock Lesnar in a Drew McIntyre match. And it eventually pops up, and it's like Kurt Angle's name is right next to Drake Maverick's. There's not a space. It's like the person who is updating this article right now is presumably being caught as much by surprise as we are. No one knows what's going on right now. And it is just an absolutely awful situation because loads of people are losing their jobs. It's unprecedented times, sure, but this is nuts.
Another name added. And Andy just texted to say, "No way, Jose has also been released." And it's the names that, and it sucks for me to put it this way, but it's kind of the names that you're expecting it to be at this point. It is all of like the lower level guys that they've just been keeping on the roster for years and years and years at this point with no actual plans to do anything with. They're just there to be bodies that might be brought out for an episode of Raw here and there, or a backstage skit or something along those lines. You know, I was texting a friend of mine about this, and he was like, man, there's we were going, he was like listing off the names that have been gone. He was like, I could probably think of 5 people that would have gone before those names. And I didn't say this back to him, but my first thought was those 5 names are probably going to be on that list today, because it's people of a certain level, the people of a certain stature. It's not going to be the people that you're paying the top dollar to. It's unfortunately, it's the quote unquote easily expendable ones, I guess.
Yeah. It's but some of those names, I mean, of all of those names so far, that Rowan is the one that stands out to me because he had a huge storyline last year. He got over. The WWE, it seems like we forget this. WWE genuinely created a new monster main event heel in Rowan through a very bad storyline last summer, but it actually had an awesome payoff. And then he moved to Raw. He got saddled with the creepy pet gimmick, and they cut his legs out from underneath him. A real shame. And yeah, that storyline was just wrapped up really unsatisfactory, just terribly. So to see his name on the list, it just it raises it above names like, EC3, who has not been used at all for about a year. I don't think he's been used even once since October when he suffered a concussion. Aiden English, that's not a surprising name. He was a wrestler. He got broken up. He got put on commentary. Primo and Epico. I'm actually surprised they weren't released already. There's been, honestly, years. They have, they don't even really hang out in this country anymore. They wrestle in Puerto Rico for their father's promotion. But that's one of the reasons why I think it was Primo who got the wellness policy violation in December alongside Bobby Roode. And the reason he didn't get it was because he couldn't get to the testing place in time because he was in another country. So all those names, I'm like, well, yes, it really, really sucks, but it makes sense. I'm not surprised by them. But having Rowan's name in there, that's like, that means a lot of people are at risk. I mean, Cedric Alexander, Ricochet. I'm talking those level people who WWE might just be like, we're just cutting costs.
Dude, I mean, I think getting rid of Gallows and Anderson, that was a real big surprise to me, was those names, in the first batch, because they just signed those guys. They just re-signed those guys to big money contracts. That was part of the, as you mentioned earlier, WWE last year, actually was sort of the last 18 months really have spent, 2 years even, have spent a lot of money nailing a lot of talent down for fear of them going to AEW, to New Japan, to Ring of Honor, to all of these places around the world. There you have just been nailing down talent. And that included people like Gallows and Anderson, who could have left and gone elsewhere. But WWE said, no, we're going to offer you a huge amount of money. Jim Ross said, when AEW first launched, Jim Ross did an interview where he said there's a guy in WWE that we would sign. You know, he's not on TV. He's not being used in any capacity. They've got no plans for him, but they've just signed him to a new $500,000 a year contract because they don't want him going anywhere else, even though they're not using him. And this is, you know, it sucks to say that this is, it's the consequences of your own actions. You know, you have, if you hoover up all this talent around the world, and I'll be honest, I'm more surprised it's not the NXT UK crew or some of the lower, you know, the NXT guys and girls that aren't, and maybe they're all coming as well. But this is like main roster talent that was first on the chopping block.
And I think that there is a pattern here, and I think it's that, you know, you look at all the shows that WWE make right now. 205 Live was redundant in a post-coronavirus world. So why on earth they're still getting in people to make that show with that level of risk on the performers is just mind-boggling. It's just that sort of decision-making where I assume that they're so stressed and so stuck in a moment that they can't even step back and say, hey, let's actually just spend 10 minutes about making a decision right now. It's just easier to carry on doing things the way they were. And that's why 205 Live's been getting made. But, you know, Drake Maverick, former... He was transitioning into the cruiserweight division this week.
He was announced for the interim tournament. So, like, this is not something that has been in the works for a while, because he was meant to be starting a storyline next week. You know, they announced him for the tournament. I say next week, Friday. They announced him for the tournament.
And he announced also that William Regal would be taking over his general manager position for 205 Live that he's held since January 2018. And that's like, oh, okay, so... you know, there's plans there. There's plans there for 205 Live. So I feel like this decision hasn't... like, when was this made?
This morning. Has to have been this morning.
This many people.
I think they must have sat down and looked at the, you know, how much is being spent, how much, you know, what... and I feel like I'm repeating myself here. It sucks to say cost-cutting measures. And
that's exactly what it is. You don't have to say any. That is literally what they said in their statement.
Yeah, this is cost-cutting measures. I think I did see. I don't know. You might be able to look at more into this. Because I've just had to put the slow mode onto the old chat because
yes.
I do want to put a call out to people as well, because a few people have mentioned this in the super chats as well. Don't put people's names in there that you're just, you know, that you're. A lot of people are just posting fake names into the chats that have also been released. So don't do that. This is not the time to be doing that sort of thing. So, you know, these are real people who have just lost their real jobs. But I did see, I think I saw reported from somewhere that some of the backstage employees, people like Shane Helms and Lance Storm, they haven't been released. They've just been furloughed. So their jobs will still be intact once they, you know, can be brought back into the fold. But, you know, the actual wrestling talent are that have been released. Is that correct? Am I right on that? Or have I misread that somewhere?
It's a mixture. So this is a PW Insider report. WWE, remember, WWE's announcements of wrestlers getting released right now, that is the tip of an iceberg. That's just because they're the people who the fans know on the show. Behind the scenes, PW Insider, as Luke just mentioned, we've seen the releases of backstage producers, Dave Finlay, Fit Finlay, been around forever. He's been released once already. He's been so instrumental in their women's division as well. Like, he has been one of the key people in getting those women's matches together. That's a huge, huge loss. Mike Rotunda, Shane Helms, as Luke already mentioned, he was a backstage producer. Lance Storm, who only just came on. Yeah, he joined in November. He shut down his wrestling school, moved himself to New York in November. And yeah, man, that really... actually, you know what Jobber JJ's just put up into the chat here, which is a really good point. The investors calls next week. Yeah. Well, that they said that there will be more details next week in the Q1 investors call. But to carry on this list, Billy Kidman. He's been there for years, Billy Kidman. He's been there for a long old time. Yeah, he's been there. And apparently he was, I can't remember, there's been so many tweets and information bits. I think at Bixenspan, it was David Bixenspan said, yes, that makes sense, Billy Kidman's gone, because in recent weeks, enter person's name here that I've never heard of before, has been doing the timekeeping for matches, and that was previously Kidman's backstage role. So yeah, no surprise there. Pat Buck as well. Sean Davari, who I believe has been a producer, sort of creative team member for just forever, really. Scott Armstrong, who's a referee, but not one we see that often on screen anymore. He was the referee in the Cadence storyline between Triple H and CM Punk, I think a long time ago now. And Sarah Stock, I'm not familiar with her name.
It's Sarah... Sarah Del Rey.
No. Oh my God.
Yeah. And the other name that we didn't list on there in terms of referees is Mike Keota, who's been a referee in WWE since 89. I think that he's been a WWE he's been a referee there. So I mean, yeah. So we can only hope that some of those, or all of those, really are just they're furloughed for the moment. They are. So furloughed is essentially you're out of your position for the time being. You are still paid. You're paid a certain amount of your wage for a certain period of time until all of this kind of blows over, and then we can bring you back in full time again.
And because WWE did release a statement after they had that initial call, the 5-minute call with everyone who works for them, and they do say in their statement that given the uncertainty of the situation, the company also identified headcount reductions and which is a very nice way of saying firing people, and made the decision to furlough a portion of its workforce effective immediately. The decision to furlough versus permanently reduce headcount reflects the fact that the company currently believes the furlough will be temporary in nature. They are looking at this to be and they don't say any time frame, but to use the UK government's approach as an example, they have seen the furloughing sort of scheme work for 3 months. Over here, it's 3 months. The UK government will pay 80% of your wages, and then it's up to the company whether they top up the extra 20% or not. I think it's a very good move, because that means when the economy does restart, you don't have all these companies in the position of having to find new people and going through hiring processes. They can literally just press the play button again and bring all those people back. There isn't like a 2-month delay of slowly getting back into shape. But we don't know. PW Insider does say that it's a mixture of furloughing and fully released for those producer names, but they don't say who's on what.
Yeah, I'm just going onto the list just to see if there's anyone else, but it is just, it's an unbelievable period of time. It really is. And like, it's been a bad week for WWE PR as it is. This, if from a PR standpoint isn't great, but I think from a real life standpoint it's even worse, because this is just people who, for a lot of people, this was their dream job. This was what they've been working towards. This is what they've kind of given up their lives to do. And through no fault of their own, they have been kicked to the curb.
Yeah, that's and the names that hit, I'm sure there's many of them. We know Drake Maverick. Honestly, Luke mentioned it earlier, but he tweeted out a video that he says he recorded immediately after getting off the phone with WWE. His eyes are red. He cries at some points. It is. I was sad before then, because people are losing their jobs, but man, did it add like the real human element to it that you don't sometimes get when you just read text on a screen. But so Drake, obviously that was his dream job, man, working for WWE. It's not mine. I think that sounds like my idea for hell, but for a lot of people, that's why they became wrestlers. Drake Maverick's obviously one of them. Freaking Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins, they live and breathe WWE, not wrestling, WWE. They love WWE. They love the action figures. They are super nerds. They're not the sort of people that well, actually, Zack Ryder is someone who would go to AEW because Cody has repeatedly said he is the one guy he would pick over any other in WWE to bring in. But that's not what they want to do. That's their dream job. They were lifers, and it is tough times, but the company have just released them. And it plays into, we were just talking about the producers and the furloughing and the releases. I don't believe you can furlough an independent contractor. That is an employment thing that you can do. So maybe this is just, we're not going to use you anymore. We're releasing you for the meantime. And maybe they have full intentions of bringing back a lot of these WWE wrestlers as soon as they're able to do so. But man, that would be the last thing, that to let some of these people go, lifers who have given everything to the company, despite being just horribly booked and not given a fair shake of the stick. Kurt Angle's another one. I
signed him for purely cynical reasons. They re-signed him and have not given him the respect that he deserved since he went back, and is just, of all the legends that they have under contract, first on the chopping block. That's, I think that tells you everything you need to know about WWE's thoughts on Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Just going through some of the comments that people have made. Kurt Hawkins has said, last time I got fired, I had a really funny tweet in response to it. Doesn't really feel appropriate today. I will say this, a lot of very talented people lost their jobs today, and out of this disaster, the pro wrestling community will rise stronger than ever. Leah Rush had a very, very lovely and long message as well. See if, and I'm just going through and just seeing if, what these people are saying. Yeah, rough day at the office for a lot of people.
This is a very, I keep comparing it in my head to last Friday when The Revival was suddenly released. And it was almost a cathartic moment. Well, hey, they've been released. Yes. Yeah. And I was hugely happy for them. Now they can go to AEW when that promotion starts running shows again. But, even a few of these people have asked for their releases multiple times, Gallows and Anderson, before they re-signed Mike Kanellis over and over again. It seems like it's like, I can't, what WWE have done is through the cynical business practice over time of signing all these people so they can't go elsewhere. They have now gotten in a position, intentionally or not, that this is the sort of end result of this very cynical business practice and approach they've had, where they are releasing people. They're now letting people go. They're now saying, yeah, Mike Kanellis, you can leave us, and they have nowhere to work. And that leaves a real bad taste in my mouth. I'm trying to understand this from WWE's perspective as much as possible, because I own a business too, and I've been, it's freaking stressful the last month. I've done that. Really, really tried to make it as I put you guys first as employees. I'm taking so much less money because I don't want to affect anything that you guys take. Sort of the lead by example thing, and then to see how WWE have done it in kind of just such a cold, calculated way.
No, I mean, to your absolute credit, I mean, you have been fantastic through all of this. Really, you've done an amazing job in keeping us safe and keeping us secure, and we have offered a lot, in return for that, and to to make sure that this ship stays afloat, and we are more than we're going to lay down a lot of swords to keep this place going. I think you've been a great boss, mate. I think you've been really good stuff, mate.
But one of the things. So from WWE's perspective, there's almost a part of me, and it happened when Vince shut down the XFL last week, where I was like, yeah, that sucks that a lot of people have lost their jobs. But I think right now in the current climate, it is the best thing to do, because what's worse, like doing this now or not doing it now and running the risk of it sinking everything, because there is something called the death spiral. I keep on talking to everyone in the office about it because
we had a big conversation about this.
Because when all this started kicking off, I went back and I sort of read up on the 2008 financial crash and what happened to successful companies and what happened to companies who didn't act fast enough. And it was all about just taking swift and decisive action. If you cut your costs immediately, you'll have a hit and then you'll steadily grow again. If you just continue like things are normal in the wake of a financial crash or some huge economic slump, then you will hit a point after that. And it could be like, if you don't act like 3 days earlier, you will hit a point where there's a critical mass of expenditure that will sink your company no matter how much you cut. It's like you can see it in the exponential spread of coronavirus. Like if you acted just maybe 2 days earlier, then you would have X thousand fewer deaths. Like that's what it comes down to. It's a similar approach here in business. So I'm almost, it's good that Vince McMahon is finally taking this seriously.
Yeah.
Like he's taken it, he's got $500 million in cash, but he is still really streamlining what is a very, very bloated, inefficient organization. But man, the way they've done it is atrocious.
And you know what? We're talking about how, it's bad tonight. I think this will be going on tomorrow. If we've seen from the WWE releases that they have done previously, it's not just that one day. You get a massive drop of them in that first day, but there is always names that come in later on. There are some people that I could see that will not have a job come tomorrow, and will be in this exact same position, having this exact same conversation, just with different names. And I've got to imagine that some of these people that have been, the lifers that you mentioned there, the likes of your Riders, your Hawkins, your Heath Slaters, and the sort of the backstage people. I wonder if this is a case of it's released for now, but once all of this blows over, we'll be right back with you and we will give you that contract. And it's it's releasing for now, but in a year's time they'll be back on the roster again, and back within a job.
Yeah. So in 3 minutes we were meant to start Quizzlemania over on Parts Unknown. I was actually meant to mention this at the start of this broadcast. I think you'll all understand that we are postponing that for this evening. We're going to do it tomorrow, hopefully same time, 9 p.m. our time, which I believe is 4 p.m. PST. No, 4 p.m. EST and 1 p.m. PST. So yeah, that will be with Brian Zane, me, Andy, and of course Adam hosting, and Laurie making his debut there on Parts Unknown. But yeah, the time, I don't want to do it. I don't really feel like having a fun wrestling quiz right now, and I think all of the viewers as well. You just want to talk about this, and understandably so. Like if that's all I want to talk about too. It's kind of like this mass therapy session of just coming to terms with this huge situation in the world that up until now hasn't really affected WWE, like our little wrestling bubble. I know like our wrestling shows haven't been able to go ahead, or there haven't been fans in the crowd for the matches, but now this is people losing their jobs. And that's the next bad thing would be someone actually getting sick, which hopefully WWE start taking the health and human side as seriously as they're now taking the financial side.
Apparently Meltzer's backing up the furlough report as well in terms of those 9 backstage employees. So we'll go through the names again that have sadly been released from their WWE contracts. We've had Drake Maverick, Curt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, EC3, Leo Rush, Eric Young, Heath Slater, Aiden English, Kurt Angle, Sarah Logan, Mike Keota, Erick Rowan, Primo Epico, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, Zack Ryder, and No Way Jose. Zack and No Way Jose were released while we were doing this broadcast. And in terms of the furlough, Dave Meltzer is saying Lance Storm, Billy Kidman, Mike Rotunda, Fit Finlay, Pat Buck, Sean Devary, Scott Armstrong, Sarah Stock, and Shane Helms were all put on furlough, a temporary suspension without pay for a period of time versus a layoff, meaning they could be brought back once company fortunes change.
So one of the, a story that suggests this was a very, very last minute decision is a report that actually came out today, which sort of missed our WrestleTalk news bit. I was going to cover it tomorrow, actually. And that is a report from PW Insider Elite. Mike Johnson said, oh no, I've just had another direct message. Meltzer says a second wave is coming.
Oh no. Oh man. Do you know what? And we said it was going to happen. But I think there's a difference between us saying that we think it's going to happen and then actually getting that it's going to happen.
Mm.
Oh man.
Oh, God, I mean, I'm surprised that there aren't more NXT and NXT UK names on the list. Not because I think they should be released, but it's just when you look at the sort of mainstream talent that's been released, it would imply that the third brand would be first on the cutting block. So this is the report from PW Insider. This is a quote. They had a lot of the agents back this week who hadn't been on the road. They were just using Florida agents previously. This is in the Performance Center tapings. I was told Jeff Jarrett was there last night. I was told Kurt Angle was there. So they are starting to bring people back on the road. And, that everyone reacted as, well, that's pretty reckless. You want to make skeleton crews, as few people work in these shows as possible. And you're flying people in from around the country to just more than you need to put on an episode of Raw. And then 2 days later, this happens. So I don't know if this is maybe these people were flown in to have a sit-down meeting where saying, look, this is what we're going to do. Here's what furloughing is, etc. Or if this really is a last-minute decision and they've flown them in on Monday and then on Wednesday they've furloughed them.
I really think that this was a call that was made today. And maybe this is being naive to the situation, but I can't imagine, and it's the Drake Maverick one that makes me think that this has been a last minute decision because, he was scheduled to be part of a tournament this coming Friday. He was posting a video on Twitter about it, on Monday, saying how excited he was to be stepping back into the ring, how he has been looking forward to this and, getting back in there because he's got that bug. And here we are Wednesday, just 48 hours later, and he's lost his job. So this has got to have been a short term, not a short term thing, but a decision that was made this morning, where you look at the numbers and, as you say, it's that death spike where you go, do you know what? It's time to start cutting some costs, and these are the costs we're going to cut. And I'd like to think that some of these, once this is all done, your Curt Hawkins, your Zack Ryders, they're going to come back into the fold. I can't see them just, going back to the indie circuit or what have you. But who knows? Absolutely, who knows at this point?
For other people, though, I mean, it's but people are speculating, so we might as well too. People like the OC, people like EC3, Mike Kanellis, Leo Rush. You've got to think they have their eye on AEW once the world returns to normal, and that is a better place for them, I would think. Oh God, I've got another direct message.
Well, I was going to say, Pete's just messaged to say that a writer has confirmed that she's been released.
Andrea Listenberger is a writer, is the name. So again, that it does show that, she wrote the whole Otis and Mandy Rose storyline, Andy says.
Oh, man.
Which is one of the more sensitively told stories.
I was going to say, it's one of the better stories that they've had this year.
And a woman on the writing team. Well, she can be cut.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about this, the AW thing, and it doesn't sort of feel like the right time to be speculating on this sort of thing. But then again, as a company, do you want to be that next group that's just like, hey, we're just going to hoover up all of this talent only to be in, you know, 5 years time in the exact same position that WWE are in. It's like, now we've got to cut all these costs.
Well, I think AEW, we got those reports late last year that Tony Khan was already being a bit like, maybe we did sign a few too many people.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have held out for a few different guys. So, yeah, you don't. This is the thing. Like, for everyone thinking, yeah, but they can all just go to AEW. It's not that easy now. First of all, AEW can't run shows, so that is not something that's going to happen. Not like, we're not even saying in 3 months' time at Double or Nothing they can, you know, these guys can come back and work the empty arena shows for AEW. That AEW won't be looking to sign new talent, bring new talent in for ages, like a year probably. But like, they'll have a few, like 2 people maybe. But if WWE are doing this, think how AEW are feeling. It's not like they aren't experiencing the same issues. Every company in the world right now is. So, yeah, it's not as simple as, the OC just goes over to rejoin the Bullet Club, or Mike Kanellis can hop over to TNA. There's no work right now, which is why it's terrible that people have lost their job. And it is just an absolute travesty that WWE held so many people for very cynical reasons to their contracts for this long when they didn't have any use for them. It's greed.
Yeah, it's I don't know why, but when you were talking about, you know, how these guys have you know, lost their jobs, and you know, and there's very little that they can really do now because there's no work for them to going out there. I always remember a Road Dogg shooting interview that he did. It was when he'd reformed the New Age Outlaws in TNA with Billy Gunn as the James Gang, and they was doing this sort of shoot stuff on Vince McMahon's kind of put a time period on this. And he was talking about pro wrestling, and he said, I only know how to do 2. I've only ever had 2 jobs. I've been a wrestler and I was in Desert Storm. So I only know how to do 2 things. I know how to wrestle and kill people, and I can only really be paid to do one of those things. And it's, you know, there is some of these people that are going to be out of work, and they have got nothing that they can actually do now, because wrestling is what they do. Wrestling is their job. Wrestling is their livelihood. Some of them might not have anything to fall back on. You know, Hawkins and Ryder, they've got a podcast, and they've got they've got a Patreon that can pay up some of their bills and things like that. But some of these other guys and girls, they haven't got that luxury.
Yeah, they could just, that the standard thing to do is start working those indie shows. When oh god, I've had another direct message. It's from Andy. Everyone released so far is from Raw.
Rusev just tweeted, "Thank you all, Rusev out."
Right, so again, this could be a case of Rusev's been rung up and told. I didn't even think of Rusev. He has not signed his contract. I don't know how he's still kind of involved with WWE. His contract reportedly expired after the summer last year, and Lana re-signed, but he never did. And that's why he was pulled from, was it Elimination Chamber or Super Showdown? He was in a match.
Show, yeah, it was the 2-8 Cup.
He was pulled from that match because he hadn't re-signed a new contract yet. So yeah, so Andy, I don't know if he's saying what Meltzer's saying or if he's speculating, but he said everyone so far is from the Raw roster, so we could see another wave after SmackDown. So maybe they need that talent for one more day on Friday, and then they start cutting, which is like
Friday is 205 Live as well. So, you know, the 205 Live taping, and then that's when you start releasing those names.
Yeah, he's speculating. I mean, Andy's just confirmed he's speculating. But look at this list. Drake Maverick is 205 Live. So's Mike Kanellis. Like, those people, everyone else is mostly Raw, though. Oh, God.
So, yeah, so I don't think we've had official confirmation yet that Rusev has been released, but that tweet would certainly...
To be fair, Rusev tweets goodbye WWE every other month for trolling purposes anyway, so who knows?
How are we ever going to do Rusev leaving WWE thumbnails ever again?
What next for Rusev? So WrestleVotes, the ever reliable WrestleVotes, have tweeted 34 minutes ago. I just checked in to see what they're saying, and they just said, all I can say is wow at this point. The number of people, staff, and talent let go will be in the hundreds when it's all said and done. Well into the hundreds. A dark day in WWE history.
And you know what? And it's incredible to think at this point when you say it's in the hundreds. And with WWE's talent pool, that's actually effectively a drop in the ocean, you know, because they have got so much talent under contract, not just on the main roster, not just on NXT and NXT UK and 205 Live, all of the developmental deals they've got in NXT and all of the people that are working for them backstage and in Titan Towers. They have got a lot of people working for them. They are a big business, big business.
And they use a lot of third-party contractors as well for sort of production and events like that, local crews. So presumably they won't be affected. Although WWE's statement did say, excuse me, I've got so many tabs open.
I know. I'm operating on 2 computers at the moment.
Well, so yeah, the 4 things that they're doing, and from their statement, the main bullet points: reducing executive and board member compensation, decreasing operating expenses, cutting talent expenses, which is what we're seeing right now, third-party staffing, which is, and consulting, which are all the, you know, sort of people you never hear about, who this company who supplies the electricity things or helps with the ring crew here, security, stuff like that. And then deferring spend on the build out of the company's new headquarters for at least 6 months. Now, we can't have the east wing of the new Titan Towers. That's been in the works for ages, though.
Yeah.
I expect that to be delayed another 6 months afterwards. Thank you, by the way, to a terrific moderation team who have jumped in. We didn't even ask them. Did not even ask them because we didn't think, because we're stupid. So thank you.
It took me far too long to realize I hadn't put on slow mode. And I suddenly looked at the channel, I was like, God, that's moving quickly. Oh, yeah, it's because I've not done this.
So thank you, Mod Mother Jenna and Bumhead Rob, for your work there, your hard work. Although we do have almost 11,000 people watching right now, so it is a tough stream to sort of manage or even read stuff. Oh God, I've had another message from Andy. Andy's put on slow mode. I thought you put
I did that earlier.
Well, thanks, Andy, for putting it on again.
Yeah, I mean, should we just go through some of the super chats that we've been sent in?
Yes. Thank you for everyone getting in your super chats. We might not get to them all because it's not that kind of show.
No.
But yes, we'll try and read out as many as we can.
JB says 18 Gone Madness, prayers for those people. Bobby Ross, a historic day in wrestling. Black Wednesday, 21 releases in July 2005. I hope this list does not keep updating. Very dark and emotional day. Jobber JJ. My heart goes out to all the wrestlers being released or about to be released. I hope they can find jobs in the near future. These times are tough. Just 10 more minutes, said Zack Ryder, officially gone. Steve said, idiots in the chat, don't put people who haven't been released. It's what we sort of covered earlier. Michael Plowman, I just hope that those who've cut have saved enough money to make it through this. Support wrestling, screw coronavirus. Thank you to Carlos, Jerry the Hero. You guys should grab Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins, so Screenstalker. They might have something to do. I don't know, reviews of merch or other stuff. Mr. Norman, love these videos. Thanks for keeping us informed. Nicholas, wow, WWE is going down the hill. I'm not quite sure we can get to that point yet. I think this is to make sure they don't go down the hill.
Yes.
Dan with a very, very generous donation to say, I'm devastated. I'm deeply going to miss to see a lot of them on my screen. So sad. Thank you to all of them. We can only get through this together. Demand William Baker, stinks for Drake. Loved him. Mike and Maria finally free. Undercard spring cleaning. Looking forward to Quizzlemania to save the day. Not today, my friend. That'll have to be tomorrow. Venom Kisetsu, been a while since I joined a live chat, which was under better circumstances. Woke up from a nap and saw Luke posting about the first few cuts. This is surreal. Yeah, I actually missed like the first group of chats that you guys were sending to each other because I was having dinner. And it was only because we were just about to sit down and put on a film, and I just thought I'd just open up my phone because I don't have any notifications on my phone, and I saw there was like 21 messages. And I was like, oh no, something bad has happened. Joe Libro is saying people think they will go to AEW, Impact, New Japan are stupid. They don't have shows to go to, and will be in the same WWE boat with releases. Rodrigo says, do you guys think that AEW or NJPW will also start releasing wrestlers?
It's tough to say. I was just scrolling through Twitter. I don't know if everyone's been keeping up with what's been going on in Japan, but a lot of different Japanese wrestling promotions came together today and met with government officials. I'm reading this from Gary Ward's Twitter post. The companies went together to show solidarity and made requests to protect the health and finances of talent. All they asked for was tests for their talent and compensation for unemployed wrestlers. This included New Japan. Tanahashi was there, saying having contracted wrestlers who were paid. So aside from health, they fought for the guys. So New Japan went out there to the government and tried to help other indie wrestlers in Japan get supported during these times. That is how you run an ethical business compared to what we're seeing with WWE right now.
Yeah. Aaron, sorry, I think on this one from Mikhail. Next No Fans Monday should be put together in the US. All these stars that are being released show WWE what they're losing out on. Aaron Donnelly, Mike Keota, it really was a surprise. Team Forward, Rowan gone. Poor corporate clan. Sharif says no more OC, terrible. Big Stew, list has been updated. Mike Maria, Sarah Logan. Utaresh, I feel for Cedric and Ricochet. I mean, they haven't been released as of yet.
That might have been me off the back of me just talking about them as But if the Raw wave is done, then maybe they're safe.
Yeah. Felipe, any word on NXT UK wrestlers? Nothing as of yet, but as Ollie said, and what Dave Meltzer is reporting, that there is another wave to come yet. Nick said,
"Hey, NXT is being broadcast live tonight from the Performance Center. I have no idea what that locker room is feeling like right now."
When Johnny Gargano tweeted that it's a bad day, it's a it's a horrible, horrible day. I'll try and find the exact wording that he put, so I'm not misquoting him.
Matthew of Botchamania and Cultaholic has also retweeted a tweet from Liam Stewart, which really kind of puts this into a bit of perspective. Over the long term, the WWE statement said that the reduction in talent costs will hopefully save them $4 million a month.
Wow.
Which we already know, and that's around about what they would have paid Goldberg for that Saudi match.
Oh my god. To update, Johnny Gargano just simply said today sucks. So I can't even imagine what it's like backstage in the NXT locker room at the moment, or even the AEW locker room. It's their friends. All these wrestlers are friendly with each other.
Yeah.
Nick said, hey guys, great to see you live again. Trump's clear favoritism towards WWE. Would Trump keep WWE open but ban AEW?
No, I think that would be too transparent. The wrestling as a whole has been classed as an essential business. So AEW can run shows, but they prioritize the health and safety of their performers over money. So they're not choosing to do them. We'll see what happens when Double or Nothing comes around, because, that's a big question mark. I would hope, if we're still in the same situation, that they don't put on that show. But as of right now, they are not running shows. They haven't run shows for 2 weeks or done tapings. MLW as well put out a statement. Court Bauer said, no, I would not run shows in Florida, because I value, not just because, remember, it's not just the health and safety of the wrestlers and crew. It's their families that they go back to. You're not just affecting the people that work for you. It's their bubbles.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Michael said, how should WWE reorganize for the future?
Well, you know, focus on rebuilding the company. I mean, I've got the WWE roster here, and I'm just, you know, look at, you know, AJ Styles, Akam, Akira Tozawa, Aleister Black, Andrade, Angel Garza, Angelo Dawkins, Apollo Crews, Austin Theory, Big Show, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Cedric Alexander. Hasn't been updated, so Curt Hawkins is still on here. Drew McIntyre, EC3, Edge, Eric Young, Erick Rowan, Eric of the Viking Raiders, Humberto Carrillo, Ivar, Hall, Carl Anderson, Kevin Owens, Luke Gallows, Montez Ford, Murphy, Wwe Jose, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Razor, Ricochet, Riddick Moss, R-Truth, Rusev, Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, Shelton Benjamin, Titus O'Neil, The Undertaker, and Zack Ryder. That's the whole men's Raw roster.
That's
so
just
many
the men.
Yeah.
And, sorry, has Rusev been confirmed? Is it
confirmed? Apparently. Oh man. I mean, but he's someone who's wanted to go.
Yeah. He has. Yep, Ray. Yeah, Rusev's now the lead image on WWE.com. He's not listed, but he is the lead image. And he's in the title.
That's what happened last time. They updated the image before they did the rest of
everything. Yeah.
Right. Sorry, just going through that list. You know, you've got I forget which one it is because I only know them by their Hanson and Rowe names. But one of the Viking Raiders is married to Sarah Logan.
Yeah, it's Rowe.
It's Rowe. That's got
Raymond Rowe. Yeah. Your wife's just been let go.
I mean, when I saw Sarah Logan's name on there, I thought Viking Raiders are coming.
Right. I mean,
but I guess they're in the Street Profits program now. But who knows if storyline plays into any of this after what we saw with Maverick?
Yeah. Andrew says with the XFL causing a stock drop, WWE probably just decided to get the whole stock drop out of the way at once.
No, it isn't. No, it's not that. It's just so much has happened this last 5 days in Vince McMahon's mind, from freaking out about the TV. His WWE and all of Vince's business ventures at the moment actually have structured themselves around TV revenue. And now that, which was seemingly safe, is not certain as it once was because of, you know, all the stuff about WWE having to run a certain number of live shows a year. If they pre-tape everything and adhere to CDC guidelines, maybe the networks will renegotiate those deals and not honor them. Which is, you know, that's a concern. But that means Vince's, all that money that Vince has to hand might be dead money, essentially. And I think he's realized that. And I think he also might now suspect that they won't be able to run the shows.
Yeah.
This whole Florida thing and the governor, there's been such an outcry. And WWE has become a lightning rod for what is and isn't an essential business. And now our little wrestling bubble has been punctured up into the mainstream and it's got a much bigger lens on it. And everyone's like, what? Wrestlers and wrestling isn't an essential business?
When I saw BBC Sports tweet about it, and I just thought, man, out of interest, I am going to read these comments because the people who are following the BBC Sports Twitter feed are probably not huge wrestling fans, and every single one of them was just like, what? A lot of people was like, what, is wrestling still going on? And other people were saying like, that does not sound like essential business. People suddenly were like, I think it just sort of blew people's minds. You know, there's a mainstream audience mind who aren't, you know, within this wrestling bubble looking at being like, how is this to be considered? And, you know, and we can sit here, the people being like, oh, well, it's a TV deal thing. But trying to explain that to someone who isn't watching wrestling or inside this bubble to be like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's a TV deal thing? Because that's nonsense. That's absolute nonsense.
Sorry, someone just apparently super chatted $500.
I saw, yeah, I was going to get to that. I'd also like to say as well, because I was just going through my Twitter notifications feed, and there's a lot of people that are tagging me in reports of names that have not been announced yet, but like they aren't but they aren't names that as in like the people reporting it. Oh wow! Someone in the live stream chat just said they were part of WWE's social media team.
Who and they've just been released.
Yeah,
is that the case? Oh,
I don't know. Sorry. We're trying to operate a lot of things here, but Pete's just saying someone in the live stream chat just said they were released from WWE as part of their social media team along with 30 others, and that was just on their team. Not sure if it's real or not, but seemed legit.
Wow. Well, I've got the $500 super chat here. Yep, Thank you ever so much, Bryce.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Bryce Che Gainus. I've probably butchered that. Thank you so much. What are the chances of WWE releasing the Viking Raiders and Nakamura? Also, it's being reported that either Buddy Murphy or Kairi Sane were released. I have not heard Buddy Murphy. I would be surprised if that happens. The amount of stock they put into him. But Kairi Sane, she's got one foot out the door already, by all accounts. Being buried by Nia Jax, getting married over in Japan, starred and want her back. And if I'm her, I want to get out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll finish at the point I was very, very badly making a moment ago as well, that when you are looking at these names that are rumored to have been released, make sure you're checking like the really credible sources and the credible reporters that are out there. Don't just believe anything you read on the internet. Make sure you're going to the people who are doing this on a daily basis, that are doing this and have got credible track records. Your Dave Meltzers, your Sean Ross Sapps, your Ryan Sattins, those are the people you should be looking out for in all of this, not some random website that's just going to list 10 names that are rumored.
Yeah,
they're probably just doing it to get them clicks. Right, we'll try and do a few more of these super chats. Venom Kitsetsu says, when this all started, I thought it was just Vince being himself. Didn't see it was because of the pandemic and for financial reasons. Brayson says, Sarah Logan and Drake Maverick hurt me the most. Seeing Maverick's video on Twitter gutted me. Yeah. The Age of Me, this is Heartless Sebastian that says, if you're one of these people that were let go, would you come back if WWE wanted you to come back?
I mean, so some people, sometimes you just gotta say, yeah, you're a wrestler at that level. There aren't that many other places to work, even without like full time, even when the world isn't ending. So yeah, I think a lot of people would go back, and I would not blame them in the slightest.
No, it's I think that's why Anderson and Gallows re-signed in the first place. So that's steady paycheck, security. Terry said Drake Maverick posted a video. He still gets to wrestle in the NXT tournament, but man, he was almost crying. It's a damn shame. County says, does this mean they'll be releasing all the part-time talent like Undertaker, Cena, and Brock Lesnar?
I doubt it.
Doubts out. Andrew Sachs saying AEW can sign so many people, but I can't think many of them out of the industry for good. Sad day. I mean, once this is all over and if those people haven't been rehired, they can go back to the indies. They should be able to get some good work on the indies. A lot of them should do anyway.
Well, I was going to say this earlier, and I have 100 things are happening at once.
Yeah, I know.
When you leave WWE as a wrestler, you have about a 3-month period where you can make a lot of money. Even if you're relatively undercard, you can make a lot of money because you've got that fresh off a WWE release jazz about you. But after then, the money, unless you really reinvent yourself on the indies like a Drew or like a Cody, you can't command those figures at all. Like, not even close to them. Like, I've heard about people's stuff getting slashed by 75% from when they initially leave WWE. So they won't have the benefit because, the market is now flooded with other wrestlers who can claim the same thing. And there's no shows to work on anyway.
Exactly. And when this all comes back, those companies are going to have a lot less money than they did at the start of this year. So they're not going to be able to pay those sorts of prices to bring in a name, even if it does sell tickets. Gadgeteens, Heath Slater hurt me the most. He's got kids. Tugigami says, I got that right. Thanks for all the news and everything you're doing through all this time. Keep up the great work and keep me entertained. Lily, everything. Drake is still in the competition. Harry Craig, have you guys seen the Drake Maverick recent Insta post? Yeah, talk about that. Go My Gaming. Thank you very much for your little gift you've sent. Terry Ray says Rhea Ripley's Facebook page doesn't have a bio anymore. and it's back to Demi Bennett. I hope she isn't getting released. I think a lot of wrestlers are doing that at the moment, though. Like they've been doing that for for the last couple of years or so, just putting their shoot names on there. Xavier Woods said that he does it because he knows that this WWE gig isn't going to last forever, so he wants to build a brand that is his, so that when he does leave, he's got the Austin Creed name that he's already built up. A very, very smart guy.
Sorry, I'm just gonna the $500 super chat from Bryce. He was just meant to send $5. It's ours now. That this has never happened. We do not know. Don't worry, we'll find out a way. Email me, Bryce, Ollie@WrestleTalk.com, OLI@WrestleTalk.com, and we will find a way to do that. Or direct message us on Twitter or Facebook or somewhere. But don't worry, we won't hold your money hostage.
Or will we? We're not. Spike by Gaming says
Eternals for everyone.
Thank you to Spy by Gaming for your donation. Chaotic Punk, he's asked what NXT people do you think will be released? I'd rather not speculate. Matthew Burledge, do you think the WWE can't take the hit and protect the talent, or do we think the WWE can't take the hit?
Sorry, say that again.
Do we think the WWE can't take the hit and protect talent?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You could. It's. I don't know how much of a legal issue it would be. I'm just speculating on not much knowledge here, but if you furlough you can't furlough independent contractors, to my understanding. If you were to arrange some kind of payment to them, that would then give them an argument to say, we sound like employees, don't we? And I think WWE, that is one of the last things WWE ever wants to happen, because it will completely change the structure of how they do business, and it will result in them not being as profitable, because they'll have to pay their talent much better, and they'll have to give them the benefits that they deserve, and they won't be able to run them into the ground as much as they do. So I don't. I assume that's why they haven't done that, because yes, definitely the ethical thing to do would be to find a way where you can partly, like go, what is the minimum you can live on right now? And then just try and make that happen.
Just on that New Japan thing, I was just reading here from Meltzer. It said Tanahashi himself told the government earlier today that he believes pro wrestling should be the last sport to return, and gave a passionate speech as to why. Bloody love Tanahashi.
Yeah.
Flaming Live, is this a sign that the king has fallen? Will WWE not survive this?
No. Like we've said, this is how they are
going to survive.
Going to survive it. You've got to cut costs.
Yeah. Try and do something that we haven't already answered. Kane, that Rockstar Spud video is heartbreaking. Mark, I can't imagine how talents like Tyler Breeze must be feeling right now, knowing the likelihood of the cut. Please turn off your phones. Name I cannot say. He said, why Angle? Man. Vivid Jim, the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Zalus says, sad day. NXT and SmackDown releases must be coming. Lewis said, release confirmed. Is Pyro hasn't been seen since WrestleMania. Daylon says, confused that Anderson and Gallows were released. Thought the OC was a great stable. Oh man, you guys, it's who knows. I think we're one of those big money contracts, really. Z Magnus said, I don't understand why they released the OC but kept AJ. AJ's the draw, I guess. Gallows and Anderson were nothing more than his lackeys. That's what they were. Travis said, did you talk about Drake's video? Yeah, yes, we did. Joshua says, this is what happened when Vince backs a wasted sport, and the innocent stuff must lead to a change within the WWE locker room. Thank you to Karina Thompson. Tony said, puts things into perspective for Braun on indie guys.
Yeah. What an idiotic thing to have said, and how quickly hindsight has proved him very, very callous.
Yeah. Pavi said, haven't been able to donate for a while. Love you guys. Got my support wrestling screw coronavirus t-shirt. Hope we can. Who can we see get fired from SmackDown? Again, I'd rather not speculate. Ben Gibson, will the WWE firings be on CNN? That must be an American thing I don't get.
Yeah.
Anne-Marie Rice, Rusev's just tweeted saying goodbye. The Age of Me is Carl Anderson. Is Carl Anderson kayfabe dead? Also, Goldberg could have been a real hero. Ashton Tyler, do you think guys will get released? Apparently he has been. Yeah, well, in fact, it's not apparently, he has been. Did you guys see the saying Cesaro is one of the most amazing and underrated wrestlers? I want to see Cesaro in AEW. That's from Pavi.
Yeah, I read that, and then I saw the improvised hot tag spot he once did. Apparently that was, he told the New Day podcast that was completely off the cuff. You know, the famous one where he's like uppercut to Carl Anderson, he hops out the ring and he takes out one of the New Day and just goes on this absolute tear. Yeah, he just did that. There wasn't a plan. It's going to be weird watching Dynamite tonight.
Yeah, right. They've got to address it, surely. They can't. It's pre-taped, isn't it? Graphic or something, you know. But it would be so weird to do the show and not address it in some form. DS said Chris Jericho's got a lot of interviews coming up. Yeah, I made that same observation on Twitter, and people were not happy with me making that observation. They thought I was making a joke. For clarity, I was not making a joke, just making an observation. Train24, WWE realized that days aren't a thing anymore. They had Black Friday on a Wednesday because what are weekends? Black Area Gaming, the fact Vince has saved himself $300 million from the XFL and then releases a load of wrestlers regardless of if they wanted to leave stinks of his garbage. I thought you might have something to add there. Sorry.
Just sighing.
Just sighing, mate. Nathan, that said, if you were a company that had been hemorrhaging money like AEW, if they don't run shows, how do they not do tapings to keep your staff paid? Jonah Jordan said, would this affect new signings like Cross and Bordeaux? Who knows? SJ said, I feel like we're having a Thanos snap universe. Thanks for giving me the great updates and amazing content listening during this hard time. Eseen says, I think this is going to be a result of Vince's greed and unethical business practices. He purposely hired talent with no interest of using them. Ramit says, lots of love from India. Love watching you guys during lockdown. Thank you to Stephen Pavi with a big donation to say, remember a couple of months ago, I said coronavirus will kill WWE. I didn't mean it financially. I meant it will expose them as a shady the shady business WWE is. From the XFL, I'd be surprised if WWE ratings go above 2 million after all this news. To be honest, if you didn't see what a shady business WWE was when they were still carrying on the Saudi Arabia deals after a American citizen was murdered by them.
Okay. Andy says Sean Ross Sapp is now saying NXT guys are getting released.
Oh man! So should we stay on for a little bit and see what comes in?
Yeah,
I'll carry on reading through these super chats. We've still got quite a few. Stephen Cause, can we get a whiteboard for all of these releases? Marcel, how are New Japan going to handle this with their talent because their shows are cancelled too? It's what we just talked about. They're all coming together. Mr. D,
by the way, no other wrestling promotion has done this. You know, they've treated it seriously. They've acted in a timely manner and not gone against state stay-at-home orders. And they've taken care of their talent, and they bolt taped in advance. WWE has done none of those things.
Mr. D said, "Are all of these releases or furloughs or both?" From what we understand, the backstage releases are furloughs, but the in-ring talent is just releases, just being released from their contracts. The other chef, if WWE superstars are released, could they get signed by AEW or another promotion without waiting the 90-day? I don't imagine AEW is going to be signing up talent during this period of time. I mean, I don't know. Megan Sem, do the superstars still have the 90-day complete? We don't know. But I would imagine they would do, yeah.
If they do, and it's likely they will, that is just a kick in the dick when you're already down. It's a spit in the face, honestly.
Vincent, this is the worst Rusev day ever. Thank you to Salty Typos. Monty says, take care, guys. Much appreciate your work. The Flying V, this is so sad. La Bella Muerta.
We have more. Deonna Purrazzo.
Oh, man. Deonna Purrazzo. She was on Raw last week, wasn't she?
So Sean Ross Sapp has tweeted, NXT talent is starting to be released. And yeah, I think we'll start seeing people. God, the night you're going to do an NXT taping as well. Yes, so Deonna Purrazzo has just tweeted, the people closest to me know this is something I've been struggling with, wanting for the better part of last year. Happy to say I gave this journey my best. I'm more excited for the future. Heart emoji.
Yeah. Mario Martinez, big fan of your content. Can I get a Drake Maverick animation one more time, Ollie?
I'm no. I did it in my other video, and I kind of regret it. So it's retired now, unfortunately.
Maddie T, with affecting the wrestlers, could this ripple over into other areas WWE has where they cancel stuff like the Big Show's Netflix shows a Netflix thing? It's not a WWE thing, so I can't see them canceling that. Netflix can cancel it.
Yeah, sorry. On the 90-day non-compete thing, the wording of the Revival's release last week was very interesting because it had the line effective immediately, which meant the Revival could turn up anywhere right away, even though technically they should have a 90-day non-compete clause in there. The reason that was most likely done was because there's nowhere for them to go. It's not because WWE were being all nice and friendly. The wording as it currently is for all of the superstars who've been released by WWE just says, we have come to terms on the release of. There is no effective immediately in there. That might just be because it's changing so much and they have it put it in there. You know, they're updating this list as people are getting called. Or, you know, it might be the case that the 90-day non-compete is applicable here.
Dad Train said the difference between layoff and furlough is a furloughed employee gets to keep the company paid health insurance. Gabriel Reyes, such a dark time. That $500 really made me laugh. We'll get through this together. Love you guys. Hope you and yourselves are staying healthy. Yeah. But I'll tell you, we had a bit of worry that my mum had it the other last week.
Really?
Yeah, she and my dad were not well. But they're fine now, so that's okay. And my mum's gone back to work.
Oh, she's in the NHS, isn't she?
Yeah, she's so retired nurse has gone back into she's doing nursing for the first time in like 40-something years, I think.
What a hero.
Or 30 odd years or something like that. Yeah. So I had her first day on Tuesday. Gadget Teens, by the way, my name is Bryce now.
Sorry.
It's all right, mate. It's fine. She's okay. I texted her like when on Tuesday, I was like, will you just stay safe? Sorry, where do we get to? GRT Bliss. Hey guys, love your streams. Question, who would be a firing that could be monumental for another company that is likely?
And what as in terms of all the people who have been released so far?
I guess so, yeah.
Man, Drake Maverick, Rockstar Spud, so talented, really funny, great mind. I think he's one of those people who can be used anywhere. Anywhere you put him, he excels in. Same with Rusev. He just has a natural connection with the crowd, with people. So I would say those two would be the people I'd go for. Aiden English as well, I thought was an excellent performer.
Sean Ross Sapp has also just tweeted out, I was able to get eyes on the Vince McMahon announcement video that went out to talent. I'll try and transcribe it directly today.
Wow. So it was a video, not even a sort of live cool thing. Man.
You, Teresa, explain to me how you donate 18 million and then fire employees after risking them to COVID. A-holes.
Yeah. So this is probably in reference to the fact that Linda McMahon's Super PAC, which is a organization for raising money for political means, Linda McMahon's pro-Trump super PAC gave the state of Florida, just over $18 million. Coincidentally, the same day, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, not the mayor, deemed wrestling an essential business and let them go ahead with tapings. Previously to then, and actually a few days afterwards, a lot of Florida officials were trying to shut WWE down because they were violating the stay-at-home orders. So, yes, I just to picture the situation, I think that's because it's the super PAC's money. Yeah. But in WWE's own statement, it says we have $500 million in cash. I mean, why haven't they set up a wrestler support fund? We did. We freaking did. And we have a minimal percentage of the the resources they have. New Japan are doing something like that.
Yeah, Tomo, not that Tomo though, says, can't believe Zach's gone. I also feel bad for his partner Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea Green is she's in NXT.
Zack Ryder's been released. Deonna Purrazzo, who was Chelsea Green's tag partner in their little NXT act as well.
Yeah. Anti-Anon says, WWE has the same 6 matches on every show anyway. William Lewis, I just wanted to say that it's great to see genuinely nice people reporting and entertaining. This is a dark time, and they should have been handled better. Zach Taylor, I was hoping things were going to get better. I hope they'd picked up, and later we got some growth for 5 or 6 different major companies. FWWE. Hitashu says, namaste from India. You guys are doing great work. Thank you to Jason, and thank you to Power Packers for your donations. Big Stu, what if Fox won't let WWE cut their roster?
I don't think they've
got that power.
Yeah. Okay. So we've got another name. PW Insider reporting this. I actually found this before Andy told me. PW Insider have confirmed Deonna Purrazzo. Well, no, so actually they've just said that Deonna Purrazzo has tweeted that out, but they also add that I don't know his name, Alexander Jackson.
Yeah, I was just looking at Sean Ross Sapp's just retweeted. He's put out saying sometimes life does not seem real, and no matter how hard we work, sometimes it's not enough. My WWE family, until one of our lights is forever extinguished, our dance will never end. Goodbye WWE NXT. Yeah, that's Alexander.
So not someone who's even debuted on NXT TV, as far as I'm aware, but the PW Insider article notes he had been teaming with Tahuti Miles, who was squashed this week on Raw by, who was it? Was it
Bobby.
Seth Rollins?
No, it's Bobby, wasn't it? Bobby Lashley.
Bobby Lashley? I'm not sure it was.
I think
it was.
It wasn't Seth. Seth was in the main event, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah, I'm thinking of the week beforehand. Well, another person gone.
Brian, it says Leo.
It was Angel Garza.
Oh, Angel Garza. Even I was wrong. There's so many squash matches. Brian said, Leo's release pissed me off. When a former cruiserweight champion can't get in the tournament, I knew something was up. Thank you again, Jason, for another donation. Matthew Leto is a WWE surviving because they are cutting costs by releasing doesn't make sense when they supposedly have 500 million in reserve. That's what we were just talking about then. English Mazza, Braun looks even worse when he says you look at Dolph Ziggler's recent tweet about the situation. So maybe no NXT UK cuts as they're on low money deals. Problem is those low money deals are the ones you can quite easily get rid of, I guess.
Yeah, it all depends on how surgical you're going to be, I guess.
Apparently, well, this is from La Belle Muerta. All backstage producers are furloughed as of now. I've not seen that reported elsewhere, though.
No, they wouldn't be able to sort of carry on their shows. They need some producers. Like Shawn Michaels is a producer. I'd be surprised if he gets released.
Seth M. Fens means I already sent $5, but I love you guys to keep it up. You deserve my money. Thank you very, very much. Silver Nifty Gaming. You guys should go on a stream with Adam Pacitti on Cultaholic. He needs the company. Never heard of him.
Is he streaming still? I know he was streaming before we started.
Yeah, must be still on his own. Timothy Baker, Machine Gun is coming back. Brett J. Rasmus says, no matter what you feel about WWE, our hearts go out to all of the wrestlers and talents lost because of this. Support wrestling. Absolutely. Yeah. Raymond Schmidt, man, I love you guys. We love you, man. Graham Scrivener, it's getting ridiculous culling season in WWE. Brendan says, do not expect to wake up today and see this heartbreaking news coming, continue to roll in. I've got another name.
No.
I'm on edge now.
Occasionally releasing tension through sighing.
I had a proper panic moment then. Like I suddenly got a Discord notification, and I was like, "Oh no, who's messaging me now about something?" It wasn't. It's just Stop Skeletons from Fighting, which is a video gaming YouTube channel, saying they're going to start a Twitch stream. It's not connected. It's just not connected. Ian Bolton, thank you for keeping us informed during this horrible time. I've recently started watching WrestleTalk content during lockdown. Keep up the great work. Welcome aboard. Thank you very much.
Looking at Twitter and seeing the WWE talent who you would assume are safe, sort of extending their well wishes to the people who have been let go. Naomi, for instance, has just tweeted, sending love and positivity to my entire family away from family. Today is hard.
Yeah.
Kyle O'Reilly has replied to No Way Jose's tweet about being released. Love you, man.
Yeah, I think Dolph had a really nice message about this as well as what the chap was referring to earlier. Let me see if I can find it quickly. There he is.
I think I've got it, yeah.
Awesome wrestlers lost their jobs today in the midst of everything going on. It may not mean a lot to you, and then that's okay, but it means a lot to me. If you can root for them, check out their Pro Wrestling Tees page and book Cameo. If you have a favorite independent wrestler having a rough time, send their info.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. Maybe if you're thinking about super chatting us, go and buy yourself a t-shirt of your favorite released wrestler on PWTs. Support them there. Or maybe check out if any of these wrestlers have GoFundMes or Patreons or Cameo accounts, as Dolph said.
Yeah. Black Bolt, they better not touch the NXT women's division. Unfortunately, it looks like it might have started. Moon saves, gutted for the roster and the business in general. In these sad times, can we remember that Tyler O'Neill kissed his son on the lips? Which is, it's not a bad thing, guys. Come on now. Dylan from Cork, sending out all my love to everyone who lost their jobs today. A soul-crushing day. Lincoln said, if Keith Lee is released, WWE is cancelled. East 9 says, how do you think WWE is going to look rating-wise after all this? I mean, once things get back to normal.
I think it will just be... Yeah, I think it will be a steady decline. 1.9 this week, 1.8 million next week. I think we'll see 1.5 million before the month is out.
Mm-hmm. Timothy Baker, not trying to be rude, but I think the indies are going to take advantage of these releases once this is all over. It depends how much money they've got, unfortunately, I would say. Thank you to Green Division for your little gift you sent there. Tony says, giving you guys the $9.99 that would have gone towards the WWE Network, which will likely be getting cancelled. Again, you know, we thoroughly appreciate it, but to echo what Ollie said earlier, this money should be going to, you know, give this money to your favorite indie guys that are struggling at the moment.
A lot of people are currently reposting Rusev's tweet from just over 2 weeks ago, where he pledged help to the WWE backstage stuff. Here's the tweet. In Bulgaria, we say, it's not a lot, but it's from the heart. I pledge $20,000 to any of my WWE extended family that are sitting at home without income. We can't do it without y'all. Production, security, etc. Love y'all. And now Rusev has been released himself.
Yeah.
Lana not, though. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. Well, who knows at this point. Jack says, really appreciate you guys staying up and keeping us updated. I've just read that Zach Rodaway saying, okay, so he's added here Mickey James and Ember Moon. Those are not official names. Again, as you check WWE.com, who's got, you know, the most up-to-date list, and people like Sean Ross Sapp, Ryan Satin, and the amazing work they're doing on social medias.
.com as well.
Absolutely.
comprehensive list of it all, because we are actually ahead of WWE's own article right now. Updated with a lot of the names.
Cannibal Social Network says, "Bless your mum." Other one, yeah, she's a good egg. Luke Haynes, do you think that once this is all over, we could see a new wrestling war between WWE and AEW?
Already in one.
Yeah, exactly. Mike Dempsey. I mean, that's why there's so many talent under WWE contract at the moment, because we're currently in one. Mike Dempsey, I appreciate the class you both are showing during this dark day. I sincerely hope this is temporary and we'll see some of the released talent soon. Yeah, and it's kind of terrifying to think, and it's something that we haven't really talked about on this stream at all. But you know, what if we are in a situation where there is going to be no live shows for the next 18 months?
Lance Storm has also tweeted, "My best to all who, like me, lost their jobs today. To those still on the job, hold down the fort for us. It was my pleasure to work with you all these past 4 months. I hope we will all get a chance to work together again. Stay strong, stay safe."
Is that an urge from Lance Storm there?
Make that joke, but I thought better of it.
You're a wiser man than I. Mark just woke up. Here's some money. Keep up the good work, you guys. Lots of love from Australia. Fitzcan, with the updated list, all of the wrestlers I liked in WWE are now gone. Unsubscribed from the network and backing out. I don't need this. Joel Mayers, the NXT roster is going to be small after today. God, I hope not.
I mean, that's one thing you can do, I guess, if you know, if you're really quite disgusted with WWE, and I think you have every right to be, cancel your subscription and give that money to a wrestler.
Yeah, vote with your wallet. Juan Villa, I was at work when my coworker told me about this. I came out early to hear you guys. Appreciate your hard work. Thank you very much. Felipe, I had a feeling something like this was coming this week and still sad to see it. Only surprised that Lana didn't go with Rusev storylines aside. Cameron says, suddenly some lines from Punk's pipe bomb promo are ringing very, very true.
I can't think of what ones. I know that one pretty well.
Lewis Silver, I love you guys, and I love our little pro wrestling bubble. Today hurts. Full Mark 2 or Far Full Mark 2 maybe. I'm wondering what the public fallout will be. Blizzard's reaction to the Blitzchung incident led to a mass cancelling of accounts. Predict mass unsubs from the WWE network in the next 48 hours.
Yeah, I think I would like to see that. Of all the times that people have gone, cancel WWE Network, cancel Mania, I think this is worthy of a movement to that degree. Because if WWE can think that they can get round this by, you know, undermining and undervaluing the people who put their bodies and health on the line for them, you know, the people who give their bodies, their lives for our enjoyment and their financial gain, to not protect them during this time is definitely worthy of you not paying $10 a month to the WWE network.
Metal Bear, love you, lad. A dark time for wrestling is dawning, so it appears. Sad times. Small Afro game, genuinely devastated. Are they going show by show? Well, we don't quite know really at the moment, but yeah, I mean, if Sean Ross Sapp is saying that we're now just about to find out a lot of NXT releases, although we've only had 2 so far, which is good. Hopefully, it stays at a low number. Ronnie Young, why wouldn't they allow the outspoken members of the roster the opportunity to leave before resorting to firing, even just from a PR standpoint?
It's because I don't think this is actually a well thought out strategy. I think it's a sort of knee jerk impulse reaction to a growing anxiety and pressure that the TV networks are going to go back on their contracts, because WWE aren't delivering the ratings and can't put on the sort of shows that the networks bought. Chelsea Green has tweeted Deonna Purrazzo. Don't worry, she's not released yet. Just saying, proud of you for staying true to you. Heart emoji, onward and upward, with a few pictures of them both together.
Yeah. Where do we get to? Jonathan, rather. Funny how the XFL went bankrupt and now their releases are starting to happen. Mike Montiel, Braun Strowman's tweet looked terrible. It's even worse now. Milos, Rusev is gone. Hopefully, we'll see him in AEW. Samar, all wrestling channels should do a collective live stream. Simon Pacitti, you guys, etc. Wow, Jared Brofany, a huge donation. Thank you. That's an incredibly generous donation from yourself. Sad day, a sad day for wrestling. These are talented people who are now without a job. Let's hope they have enough savings to feed their families and get by. Thank you so much for the work you do, taking up your free time to inform us of all of everything. We heart WrestleTalk. Nakoma, I wonder if WWE will brag about trending today.
Did you know WWE was one of the most searched for terms? So I just want to add this. This was 8 minutes ago. Voices of Wrestling tweeted, "This is pure speculation, but I have to imagine Vince heard some whispers or something from either Fox and or USA, which is causing the atypical dramatic reactions over the last week." So, you know, WWE were all set to bulk tape a load of content in advance, and then, you know, up until Money in the Bank, which was in a month's time, and then that's how they were going to work. But then on Friday, midway through, Vince freaked out and changed everything. And Dave Meltzer, off the back of that Voices of Wrestling tweet, Dave Meltzer has, quote, retweeted it and said, "It's not speculation in the least," which, you know, got to take that to mean as Vince has gotten spooked by something the TV networks have said. And he has put all these eggs in one basket, and that basket might be dropped.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to... My drink was on a table, but the table was on the other side of the room.
Is that a beer?
No, it is a cherries and berry squash.
Ooh.
Tastes like Haribo. It's incredibly sweet. Mark Roberts says, "Wonder if the NXT UK will have different legal clauses
between WWE and AEW." Sorry,
I think just in WWE in general. They're all WWE contracts, so I imagine they've all got the same clauses.
Well, I imagine if you have an agent and you are a main event star, you can demand a more bespoke contract. But yes, I think all the people who are getting released today probably, unfortunately, had WWE's template, like watertight contract that gives them all the power and the wrestlers very little.
Benny Sato, with an incredibly generous donation, said, "This was not an accident. Much love to WrestleTalk. Lovely sad news day with the boys." He did mean that donation.
Wow, thank you, Benny Sato.
Crazy Lewis, thank you for everything you guys are doing. You're the best. William Buhner, just trying to help out a great bunch of kind-hearted lads with bigger hearts than most people. Love you guys. Thank you all. It's the inpouring of this is one of those times where you kind of love being a wrestling fan and love being part of this wrestling community where you all get to come together like this and just sort of collectively be a bit sad together.
Yeah, it is nice to have you all here too. It's like we share the highs together when we all watch pay-per-views on live stream, and unfortunately we can commiserate each other during these lows.
Mark says today was going to be a quiz too. What a downturn. Flaming says, "What if all of these releases were voluntary?" I would have thought if they were voluntary, people would have said they were voluntary, or maybe WWE, as you know, as a way to PR spin this, would have said it's voluntary.
Yeah, I watch some of the videos and tweets that the wrestlers are making. It is not voluntary.
Yeah. Michael just came from work, seeing this very heartbreaking. Can you guys give a rundown of who's been released? Yeah, should we do like an almost updated list?
Yes, I have it to hand.
I've got a list here as well if it helps.
So I've got WWE's official post: Kurt Angle, Rusev, Drake Maverick, Zack Ryder, Curt Hawkins, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Heath Slater, Eric Young, Rowan, Sarah Logan, No Way Jose, Mike Keota, Mike Kanellis, Maria Kanellis, EC3, Aiden English, Leo Rush, Primo, Epico, and from NXT we also have Deonna Purrazzo and Alexander.
Yeah, and in terms of backstage producers who are currently on furlough, we've got Lance Storm, Billy Kidman, Mike Rotunda, Fit Finlay, Pat Buck, Sean Daivari, Scott Armstrong, Sarah Stock, and Shane Helms.
And we've also had the WWE backstage writer, who was responsible for writing the Otis and Mandy Rose storyline. Her name is Andrea Lissenberger.
And apparently we've been told as well that we had someone in the chat earlier who was part of the social media team, that they and 30 others were also released. Yeah. Dildor says, do WrestleMania, he said. It'll be fine, he said. Big Stu 83, is Braun eating his hat since his tweet about helping wrestlers?
He's your Universal Champion. Isn't that great?
Steven says, now is the time for Cody to buy Starcade. Do you know what? Actually, I mean, I was going to be a bit dismissive of that, but yeah, you're probably right, just to be like, here's the money on the table. Let me have the name now.
Yeah, that's I think Vince McMahon's pride wouldn't let him do that. Interesting tweet from Alex McCarthy. Talk Sports Alex McCarthy. Every infrastructure is different, but to be clear, WWE didn't have to do this. They have $500 million cash reserves and would have still turned a profit this year.
Yeah. Review McReview face for your pronunciation of Jarl. Megan, how I personally feel about all of this. Smeg. Rob Greaves, long-time viewer, first-time super chatter, never watching WWE again. What a disgusting company they are. Hashtag stay safe. Thank you for your little gift there. Jason, Kenneth said, won't be cancelling the network. It could lead to more releases.
What, cancelling the network? It's not, that's not the, they're not making that much money from the network. It's a failure. They make all their money from TV deals and Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Like, don't overestimate the point of canceling your network subscription is to show that viewers are actually voting with their money. It won't actually affect them financially in the short term. Don't go saying that won't do anything or anything like that. You're sort of belittling the cause.
Mirage says, with a very big donation, to say, as one of the few fans of wrestling in the Czech Republic, someone who started on WWE, this is devastating news. I don't know how to process this. Keep up with what you're doing. You're awesome. Spark of light in the darkness. Pro Wrestling Review said, will NXT get cancelled if this goes on for 18 months?
I don't know. So Sean Ross Sapp is now reporting NXT talent is being provided 30 days of pay and then are free to do whatever they want. He was asked...
All NXT talent?
I mean, I've literally just read the quote verbatim.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was just reading there, which is why I had a bit of a...
Well, with all the context, I would imagine he means the ones that are being released. Some people have said, so a lot of people are saying, everyone? What?
Yeah, I think the wording of the tweet is a bit...
Yeah, he hasn't replied to anyone asking everyone.
Yeah.
Literally every reply is everyone, clarify. But he has, someone said, not the main roster, and he's just said, I don't know.
Yeah. Right, where are we? Bright says, with Vince wanting the pay-per-view format back, I don't think he will mind everyone cancelling their network subscriptions.
Yeah, well, just don't buy the pay-per-views as well. That'll show him.
Nikolai said, I don't understand the TV deals issue. Don't they have an act of God clause in their contract?
So I don't know. But whatever it is significant because you can see the way Vince McMahon has reacted as of last Friday when the reports of something not being quite right with WWE and their TV networks started to come out. We have another update from Sean Ross. This doesn't mean the main roster isn't. This is an update specific to NXT and nothing else. And Andy is also saying it's bottom tier NXT.
Okay, right. Okay. Daniel said, this is a weird feeling watching the mass releasing from WWE. Gute Nacht. A16 Adam Walker, watching all of this, all I can think is F Vince. Stephen J said, hashtag wrestling strong. Black Gold Gaming, make your voice heard and unsubscribe from everything in WWE. Tall TN Kev, thank you for your donation. Oh, it's just refreshed. I hate this thing sometimes. It's not even the new back end. It's always done this. Try and work out what we got to. Oh, no, sorry, I found it. Rockwell, first No More Dancing Chopper. Now some of my favorites in WWE are unemployed. This year sucks. Brett Mills, anyone else still not think WWE sees wrestlers as toys? Obo, people are getting angry at Florida making WWE an essential service, but this isn't new. MLB is currently working with Arizona to restart baseball, and the NFL is planning on the return in August. Well, it's because they're part of the Supermind group to decide whether or not America should reopen. It's almost like, I'm sure they don't have any vested interest in the decisions that are made.
But there is a big difference between even what they're doing and WWE. WWE are literally running 3 shows a week, flying in people from all around the country. The NFL and stuff, they're looking at August. That's 4 months away.
Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. Meanwhile, WWE keeps posting on social media.
It is. I thought that as well. Like when I went to the when I first heard the news, I went to WWE's Twitter account, and yeah, let me get it up. It's got it's the classic pinned tweet of something that they want to promote. So it's you go to WWE's Twitter account right now, and it's Otis and Mandy Rose have some tea to spill. Big Show talks Netflix's Big Show show and more. And it's the bump. They're advertising the bump. And then the last tweet they made was, wow, check out Paige defending the Divas Championship against Naomi at Money in the Bank 2014, courtesy of WWE Network. And then here's an episode of Slammed and Top 10.
It's always the dangers of scheduling tweets, of having a tweet schedule out there. It's always the dangers of it.
You had... So about half an hour before the the first announcement was made on their Twitter, WWE, a military makeover with Montel, are teaming up. An announcement as that, as the WWE Universe get to pick the next veteran who gets a home makeover. And then the next tweet is, oh, by the way, we fired a bunch of people we don't give a crap about.
Well, it's the same thing with, when they got announced as a essential service and they were going back to doing live TV, they then quite unironically posted a video of wrestlers saying, hey guys, stay at home, stay safe and wash your hands. And I was like, man, it's incredible how you've not seen that this is not the best thing to be tweeting right now.
Heath Slater has literally just tweeted, I know everyone is waiting to hear my response to my release from WWE, but after 16 years, a company you've been with for 16 years, I'm going to need a little more than a few hours to really digest all my thoughts and emotions. For now, thank you for all of your kind words and support during this time.
Says, could Vince maybe have been told that he can't do Saudi shows? They're not taking place and they can't get any money from that, and so they're a little bit behind.
There's potential.
MT Pounds, thank you for all you do. This is a dark day in pro wrestling. Wishing all the release the best. Rockstar Spud's video had me in tears. I actually had a text from my friend with almost the exact same thing, saying I just cried watching Spud's video.
It's hard not to. Sin Cara's just tweeted, and you wonder why I left.
Yeah.
Sin Cara asked for his release twice, I think, late last year, and was granted it along with Luke Harper in December.
Yeah. King Rasta said, looks like Mike and Maria got their wish. Yeah, I'm not sure it's in the way they probably thought it would be, Tom Ball, a dark day for WWE, and my girlfriend broke up with me.
They've got a kid on the way, right?
Mike and Maria.
Yeah. She must be due soon.
Yeah, she must be, right? Because because they re-signed and then found out that they were pregnant. Yeah, that's my timeline's correct. So I'll just read Tom Balls again there. Said, dark day for WWE, and my girlfriend broke up with me today. Happy 2020. A16 Adam Walker, it's estimated that when you add everyone that's been released and they've cut $4 million from their budget, with what Goldberg was paid for the Saudi blood money, which we covered earlier. Steve said, based on his message, lifting the parting glass for Rockstar Spud's career. Heel Zod, do you think that AEW will be letting people go soon too? We don't really know on that one. DeAndre said, whose departure makes you the saddest? Because you'll miss them. I'll miss Drake Maverick the most.
Just to show how other wrestling promotions are dealing with this, Katarina, of course, the former winter in TNA, and is it Katie Lee Burchill? She played
Katie Lee Burchill, yeah.
Yeah. She has just tweeted, on a related note, I would like to express gratitude for having just received a check for a show that is not taking place from a company I don't have a contract with, but was looking forward to finally working with, Ring of Honor. What a thoughtful and classy move.
That is a classy move.
Ring of Honor are paying their talent for shows that Ring of Honor have had to cancel.
I heard that Impact were doing the same thing as well. I think Ethan Page tweeted out saying that the shows they were meant to be doing over WrestleMania that had to be moved and to be effectively cancelled. They sort of bumped it instead. They all got paid for. They've been paid for those shows. Armando says, do you think it would make sense for some of the indies to pool their money afterwards to try and pick up some talent?
What, and have a kind of that's not traditionally the way the business works. You have as opposed to like a super conglomerate of promotions that can share a pool of wrestling talent, you instead have independent contractors that bounce between them. So I don't see that happening. Honestly, wrestling promotions and wrestlers working together, that there's a reason a union hasn't happened yet, and it's because it's quite an unruly bunch to do that.
Thomas says, thank you for your hard work through all of this. This is a sad day. Dincy Noblet says, my heart goes out to all the talent who've lost their jobs today. Do you think this could have been stopped by paying millions to part-timers and one-off appearances to avoid all of this? Nervous for the NXT names. Yes, Santos Rusev has been released. Grayman Media, I'm sure Mike Bennett, EC3 and Rusev don't mind getting released.
Well, it's never nice.
No, because that's the paycheck's gone now, and you can't, like, previously. I think what he's referring to then is that Mike Bennett and EC3 and Rusev has likely been looking to get out of his contract. Mike Bennett has publicly asked for his, but that was during a period of time when there were places to go and work. Now there are no places for them to go and work, so I'm sure they actually probably would have been quite grateful for this a constant WWE paycheck.
Yeah. A lot of people now on Twitter are sort of bringing up the $500 million of cash reserves WWE have. So a lot of business people are saying that their last statement showed 90 million in cash and cash equivalents, and then someone else has added that money is presumably based on projections and forecasting, business forecasting. So they don't actually have 500 million on hand. However, I'm pretty sure that's what they said in their own statements. So let me just... Yeah, you carry on, sorry, and I'll find...
Yeah, that's okay, mate. Sean said, I keep saying this, but Vince is a horrible human being. James Merriweather, do you guys think in the XFL goes bankrupt has more to do with the releases than the networks, considering WWE had 20% of funding in the XFL? I think it is very much the case of they're cost cutting in preparation to not lose more money during all of this time.
So the sentence that I was talking about in WWE's own statement that they released about 3 hours ago. Additionally, the company has substantial financial resources, both available cash and debt capacity. So cash in hand and stuff they can actually like borrow, I assume, which currently total approximately $500 million.
Right.
So they got the funds.
Stevie Sham with a very, very interesting question for this period. But do you guys ever struggle to continue to cover WWE between Saudi, the allegiances to Trump? Obviously, it's vital to your business, but still.
Well, yeah, I guess you could take that. And we have definitely had those sorts of conversations behind the scenes, but we mostly see ourselves as news attainers, where we just talk about leaked storylines and who's got heat backstage, relatively insignificant stuff, but stuff we find ridiculously interesting. But this is like, these are real stories, aren't they? And for those things, we have a sort of duty with the platform that we have to talk about this stuff and hold WWE up to scrutiny for it. That's sort of I would never call us journalists.
No,
but what is the word?
Well, you effectively made up the term news attainer, which I think is quite apt. Like you have Vince McMahon to this situation. They're not wrestlers; they're sports entertainers. We're not journalists; we're news attainers.
Yeah, but a lot of that is to highlight when WWE are doing really, really sordid stuff like this. This is bad S word.
Jailer said it's come out in the news that WWE that owned a chunk of the XFL stock, despite what Vince tried to lead the public to believe, which means the company definitely lost money. XFL closing could definitely be a factor in all of this.
NXT isn't closing.
The XFL?
Oh, the XFL. Yeah.
James says, will you guys bring back Indie Mania or something similar to support wrestling shows?
It will certainly try. The last one we learned a lot of stuff from, so we could definitely try and do that again. Yeah.
James Merriweather said, do you think WWE could be in legal trouble with the whole thing about lying about the XFL funding kerfuffle?
That's a big story. Yeah, it's kind of been lost amidst everything else that WWE were actively funding XFL when a lot of WWE shareholders were like, whoa, we didn't sign up for this. So it's like, was Vince McMahon acting in the best interests of WWE shareholders? I don't think it will actually hold up if this was ever to go to court or anything like that, just because there's probably a load of legalese, and the Vince McMahon is probably very, very protected over anything regarding that. But that doesn't make it any less dubious, or key word here, carny.
Yeah. Thank you again to Benny Sato for your very, very generous donation. Ecosign, do you think fans will go to AEW in droves? I think they're appealing to different audiences, but who knows? Nick, hopefully they can find work soon. Excuse me. Would love to see EC3, Rockstar Spud, and Michael Martinez in AEW. Also, would be cool if Eric Young went back to Impact. I think Impact,
that would be cool.
They would definitely have, like, particularly EC3 as well. Owen Towers, I'm surprised that everyone is surprised about the amount of people being released. This is such a Vince move. Joe Eldridge, you think there's going to be... you think they're going to get rid of the UK talent, and with what's going on to Undisputed Era, they're going to get rid of everyone beside Adam Cole. I mean, I don't want to sort of speculate on things, but yeah, I'd imagine that there will be some announcements made. I don't think they're going to get rid of the other members of the Undisputed Era, but keep Adam Cole. I don't know, though.
Should we start to bring things to a close?
Yeah, we'll try and rattle through the rest of these because we've only got a few more, I think. Moon saves, is the wrestling world ready for Zack Ryder? Steve says, Punk is on Backstage tonight. It was on last night, in fact. sorry, where did we get to? Yeah, I suddenly realized that we've been going on for way longer than we thought we were going to. Gabriel, keep this going on for as long as it takes, funny enough. Scott, this is one of the worst single days of firings. Dan H, rough times. Thanks for uploading for us fans. Rockwell says, for real, you guys should hold a Chopper Dance-a-thon to raise some money for indie wrestling. I would pledge to that. Love you guys. Dance, Chopper. Moon Saves says, I'm devastated that Heath Slater won't be the third member of 3MB to become a world champion. I don't think that was ever going to happen at all anyway.
Well, the idea is you get released from WWE as a member of 3MB, you make something of yourself, you come back with a corking body, and you become a top champion.
The Adnap 2 says, Maria was on maternity leave. Is this even legal?
I don't know if she can be on maternity leave as an independent contractor.
Yeah. DJ the Second, which release has surprised you the most?
Rowan and Luke Gallows and Carl. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, not really though, because I think that was a resentful signing, and they've been buried a lot anyway. But Rowan, just for whatever reason, caught me by surprise.
Krusty says, does this mean the cruiserweight tournament is cancelled? Apparently not. Mirage said, disclaimer, the amount is international because it's a very big number. Don't know how much it is in dollars or any other currency, just rounding up to the nearest 1,000. Also, as I listen to more and more, let me just say and read, I'm more and more heartbroken, and I think about the same as most F. Vince. The Devalion says, WWE had better not go through with Money in the Bank. This sucks. My thoughts go out to all those affected. Coop Nation, who do you think will be signed by AEW out of these releases?
EC3, I think, and Zack Ryder. Cody's always been very open about wanting Zack Ryder.
I can certainly see Gallows and Anderson either going there or going back to New Japan. Michael, yeah, we talked about sort of TV deals in Saudi. Oh, man, where am I getting to? The Stefan Mark, WWE have delivered a low blow to everyone who loves WWE. Keep up the good work, WrestleTalk. And my thoughts are with the talents being released today. Kelly Bouncy said, if this continues, AEW will have to cut people too. Renee Rengel has retracted their message, but thank you regardless. Flame Inc., after all is said and done, should stars unionize and should all promotions merge so they can pull all their funds together and save the wrestling industry? What we sort of talked about a bit earlier. Sean Carter, lots of guests who tell their stories to Chris Jericho. Injection, when talent wants to go, they say no. But when they don't feel like paying them anymore, they say you can go ahead and leave. That's disrespectful, to be honest. Brett Mills, can you imagine a certain Hollywood superstar's reaction if Simone Johnson was one of the names released?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if The Rock says anything about this, because he seems like a principled guy, but he also does love WWE. But I would like to see him stand up for the wrestlers here.
Jobber JJ, is this a distraction because WWE can share holes in WWE? Vince always seems to do this for every investors call, so a way to kind of like hide the XFL thing on the next investors call and just talk about this instead.
Yeah, that's a very interesting. Yeah, that's a very, very acute observation. He's changed the narrative, is what he's done. Yeah, and it's. You're right. I was looking backwards. I was looking at the TV contract stuff that might have influenced the decision. But yeah, it could totally be a preemptive move ahead of next Thursday's investors call. Very interesting.
Lakabar said, remember the uproar in the country when Premier League teams furloughed their staff. This is much worse than that. Dollhouse Killer Productions, do you think more will happen in the coming months?
Well, yeah, we know more are going to happen tonight. More are probably going on right now because they're ringing round the NXT roster by all accounts, and it seems like the SmackDown one will be next.
Peter said that he is shocked by all of this with a very big donation. Thank you very much. Fuzz said, why isn't it on WWE.com Twitter? It's on both of them, all of these releases.
So they've done it weirdly. They've only done one tweet, and then they keep updating the article that tweet links to, not the actual tweet, but the link article it does.
Troy says, what if it's a work and these people will show up in the crowd on Monday?
That's very good.
Apparently Mike Canales has posted a video on Twitter.
Yes, I haven't watched it because I'm listening to you.
Hello, mate. Pavi says Young Bucks, Jungle Express, Death Triangle, Lucha Bros, SCU Revival, AEW's tag team division is stacked. Will they get the OC? Oh, and of course Santana and Ortiz. Andrew Rex, 5 minutes after releasing Rowan, WWE posted a video that said 10 stars that slammed the Big Show. One of the list was Rowan. Such class. Aaron Watson, do you think guys will go to NWA? I mean, as we've kind of said throughout this video, it's almost impossible to say where these people are going to go because there's no wrestling at the moment.
Yeah.
Thank you to Carlos. Just a few more. Lily says Fightful reporting NXT talent being provided 30 days. We talked about it before. Devante Lee, thanks for the coverage on how this will change future. How do you think this will change future contract negotiations?
Yeah, WWE are in a very powerful position. Nothing's changed really. If anything, they've just made themselves more sort of elite in where wrestlers have to go to get work.
Pavila Aneres Cage says Vince is literally the worst human. He practically is blaming Fox for all of these firings because they don't let him film the matches instead of live. And lastly, Renee Rangel says, I cried watching Drake Maverick's video. Sad day for the wrestling community. Stay safe, everyone, and pray for these wrestlers and their families.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring things to a close there on 2 hours. Me and Luke only hopped on this to do a sort of 20-minute, half an hour thing. Thank you to everyone who's super chatted in. Thank you to everyone who's sort of tuned in as well and is still watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have, this might be the first time you're seeing us. We do daily wrestling news videos and we do live podcast reviews on the channel as well of all of the big wrestling shows. Would also check us out on Parts Unknown. If you need a bit of a break, a bit of levity, go over there tomorrow. Because we'll be doing a wrestling game show quiz hosted by Adam Blompier with Wrestling with Regrets Brian Zane. Me and Luke will be back tomorrow here with a review of AEW Dynamite. Just feels like nothing's important anymore, though. It's weird. But the best thing you can do between those times is go over to WrestleTalk.com. That's going to be the best place where we'll update all of this news as it happens, because it seems like NXT wrestlers are getting released right now. But I'll be back in the morning with a WrestleTalk news video reviewing AEW and trying to make sense of all this stuff. We'll see what happens. But for now, click the videos that have appeared on the screen. Head over to Patreon as well. Check us out on there. Subscribe to our podcast. Just get on the WrestleTalk bandwagon. I've been Ollie Davis. This has been Luke Owen. And that was wrestling.